Again, everybody, it's Harry Bucks for the Technical Trader, TechTrader.com. It's Tuesday night, October the 2nd. These are the charts for the day. Well, it was, again, an up in the morning, down an afternoon type day with a bounce at the end to get it flat to mixed on the session. But I'm a little bit worried about what I'm seeing. Narrow technicals and the market feeling like it wants to sell. We'll keep an eye on it, but we're still getting these good day trades and swing trades. So let's take a look at some of the better looking ones. Right now, Killian is in a rising channel, as you can see. It's moved up from about 2 1/4 to 387. At the high for today was 389. It closed 2 cents off the high. This is the highest close since back in March. And if we get an extension here, we should see 435, 525, 5.5. Those would be my targets going forward. This is a resistance area, so let's see if we can punch through. Boeing aircraft, well, yesterday I featured it as a breakout. Today it had a nice follow through. I believe the stock's headed for about 415. Secondary target about 4. I would have to say 50, 55. Looks like it's trending, and it's broken out of an 8 or 9 month base. CLRB exploded on big volume at 5.1 million shares and broke out above the 50. It looks to me like, and it did back off. So after getting to 428, finishing at 369, not a great close, it was still up 12%. If it follows through, we get a follow through, we should fill the gap to 5 1/4 and make it up near 7. That would be my secondary target, probably up closer to around there. That's even as high as 7 3/4. So it may get moving. A little bit of resistance here. Let's call it 7 and 8.5, something like that. So it could really get some nice percentage moves if it gets any follow through here. IGC, well, what can I tell you, folks, other than the fact this stock is extremely overbought, extended, and very risky. After hours, they took them down. After popping it right after the close up to 1449, it got down to 1045. You saw what happened during the day, but the same area, triple top now, and then the pullback. So obviously the stock is vulnerable to a retest of 9.5, and beneath that, put a fork in it. Now it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move down off the high, so maybe we get a little bounce tomorrow. A little bit of support here about 1045.50, but I'm not happy with this pattern, and just wanted to let you know that I think the stock is extremely extended. And with 120 million shares in one day today on this stock, this is probably blow-off time. Be very, very careful. INO, well, INO broke out of a base today, spiked down almost 5 million shares and jumped 14%. I'll take it, but it's a key breakout. Now, the 6 3/4 7 is my initial target, secondary target 8.5, and then 10. But this could be the beginning of a big move. Keep an eye on it. It might be a good swing trade. KL back in the saddle again as it broke back out through the declining top line and through the 50, closing above it, and right at resistance. If we get a follow through, I would look to see if this can take out 21 and then take out 21 3/4, 22. Those are resistance right now in that area. So let's look for 22 and then retest the highs about 23 3/4. Eventually, I'm looking for the stock to extend and make it up to 27, thereabout. Candy, well, it looks like money's flowing into that. Today it popped on an increase in volume of over 1 million traded. 554 up 46 cents, that's a 9% gain. It looks to me like it's going to test the 620.25 range. We get to that, that base is breaking it out. And then I look for a run that takes us potentially up to 7, 7 3/4, perhaps 8.5 would be a good swing target. Semiconductor Junior LSCC broke out of a base, popped, and then pulled back. But notice how it held this level and the 50-day moving average and trend line to create a new rising channel. The parallel channel line, if followed, should lead to a test of 9 and then maybe 10. Today's volume of 2 million shares was a nice increase, the best in about 3 weeks. On a breakout day, I'll take it. Looks really good. And Orogenics, another biopharmaceutical type, marijuana type stock, really ramped up in the last 5 sessions to take it from literally 60 cents to 374. And today's pop of 123%, or $1.97 on a mere 99 million shares, is also blow-off time. As far as I'm concerned, you can see the resistance up here. It would very likely, with that kind of run-up, we get some sort of pullback, starting even tomorrow morning, or even take a look at this evening as the stock is consolidating bullishly in a coil. You don't want that to break, and I would put all my stops on this one under, say, 280. 280 is a breakdown. PYX exploded, another maybe competitor for Tilray, and that's one of the reasons why Tilray was weak and this was strong today. Popped all the way up to 30 and 3/4 before backing off $4. It was still up 330 or 14%. However, the high today of 30.76 and the March high of 30.70, pretty much key resistance up here. Now, should it blow through that in the next day or two, it's going to be mid to high 30s. I'd be real careful with this too. I did not like the close. Solar stocks came to the forefront today, and several of the junior solars acted well, including Run and VSLR. Run popped out of its 3-month coil pattern, popped up and closed above the 50. I would look for a test of 1440 as early as tomorrow. And if it gets to the 15 area, 14 and a half, 15 is your target. Then I would look for an extension to get this to about 15 and a half and retest the high at about 16 and a half. Very promising. And then that also brings us to Vivint Solar, which also, similar to Run, has broken out of a pullback channel over the last 6-7 weeks and came up through resistance today with a pop of 25 cents. That's almost 5%. The line was, it's just a thinly traded stock, but I'm looking for a run to retest 615 and then looking for something about 8 if the solar group gets running. And just for kicks and giggles, SPWR had a nice pop today. I didn't feature it, but it was up about 3 or 4%. That's on the long side. Let's take a look at some bucks and shorts and what they're up to. Several of them had nasty days today. AAXN. Now, we originally gave you this rising wedge here. Looked to me like a bear flag at one point, a bear wedge. After breaking the channel down there on heavy volume, it rallied up on low volume, and it got to the moving average resistance right there, which led me to believe it was a good short, but it just kept stretching it out to retest the high up around the 75 range. Now you can see that since then, it broke down, bounced, and today it's coming down again. If this thing gets to 63, right through about here, I'm pretty convinced it's going to fall, and I mean rapidly, potentially, down to at least 56.7 and then maybe 50, 51. ATHM fell out of that wedge we showed you last Friday, and then followed through this week so far to test key support around 70 today. I don't think, though, that's done yet. Now, maybe back and fill a little bit, but eventually 60 and 53 are targets. AXGN, big breakdown, rising wedge, right to the 50, right to price resistance, right there. Rolled over hard, formed the bear flag. Yep, it looks like it wants to go lower. The measured move at least gets me down in the mid-20s. AXGN. Copart, as automotive sales are down and more automotive parts manufacturers are starting to get hit. This one took a big break, snapped back, and then fell apart. Keep a close tab on this level, around 49.50. If it takes 50 out, we can see 45.6 pretty quickly, and maybe ultimately down to 40. CRSP, massive head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, or rounding top, whatever you want to call it. It broke one layer of support. It's at the second layer, and if we follow through to the downside, we should at least test the bottom of the channel at 36 and perhaps even as low as 32 short term. EDIT broke its bear flag, and after breaking from a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and breaking the channel top here, this thing rolled over hard and snapped back to resistance, creating a new down channel. But the breakdown today tells me this is headed towards 23 and a half. IIN, well, I finally decided to put this out. It's right on the precipice of a big drop. Moving averages are crossing over and rolling over. A left shoulder head, right shoulder pattern is developed. A neckline where it's right at now. We should break, we're going to see 46, 37, and all the way down to 31, 32 is a potential on an intermediate basis. Right now, the short-term target, though, is 45. NEWR broke its top, may have broken its major trend line, and it's coming down with some energy. There's a big gap here. Now, if they fill that gap, this could easily get down to about 78.9. That would be my near-term target. Nutanix, I gotta say, as much as I love this company, the chart is broken. Bear wedge, breakdown. Another little bear flag. Looks like we're headed to at least 39. If we get really jiggy with it on the downside, this could be low 30s. NVRO, nasty looking chart. Big top, breakdown bear flag, breakdown test, bounce test. This is right on support here. We break down, 48 and 38 are targets. Pets, massive top, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Right on the neckline. And it looks like with this stock being down, what, 10, 11 days in a row? Just a little bit each day, but it's killing you with kindness, and it doesn't look good. Breaking this big bear wedge here. Rollover could get me to 27, perhaps 25, 27 zones, my next target. RHT bear swing short, looks like it's breaking. It formed a little flag and broke down. I think it's headed lower. Looks to me like we should be 118.20 short term. In immediate term, though, this could be $100. THC broke down from the bear flag. Moving averages rolled over. It broke down and formed another falling wet flag, which looks pretty ominous. 25, 22, and 20 are targets going forward. And Taylor Brands, which I wanted to give you there and failed to, looks like it's ready to go again to the downside. With targets of 19.5, 17.5, and eventually 14.5. Or let's call it 15. This not look pretty weak. Swing short tree, which I gave you there, has worked out very well over the last few months, dropping from 330 all the way down to 200 and change and bouncing. It's right back down again today. Now, if this takes out 207, I think it's headed for 170. Finally, TTGT looks really ugly suddenly after a huge uptrend and a beautiful pattern. There's the breakdown day. There's the bear wedge. There's another breakdown, and there's another bear wedge, and yet it broke again today. Looks pretty ugly, doesn't it? 17, 15, and even 13 are potentially targets. That's the long and short of it today. Have a good evening, everybody. Let's make some money tomorrow.